Our speaker this morning is Anya May. Anya is a four-year boarding student from Los Angeles, California. She's a captain of the varsity girls water polo and swim teams and a prefect on US 3 East. She's also the proud roommate of Anastasia Krafchek. Anya?
I find it incredibly easy to get lost in my thoughts and spit out meaningless phrases such as, I don't want to do this, or this was the worst decision of my life. Much to my demise, I'm a complainer. No matter how good or bad a situation may be, a common response of mine is a complaint. I tend to characterize a day as being the worst ever because I got a bad grade on a test. My package didn't come in time. I had an especially hard swim practice, or I had to do my Delta math. This reflex of mine led me to feeling like every day was a drag. I convinced myself there was a better alternative for anything I was doing, or a better place I could be at any given moment. I spent no time on resolving these small annoyances on my life. Instead, I decided that complaining and sulking was the best option, as if maybe one more drab comment could change it all. On the last day of every break, I have a bad habit of not sleeping. My flights are always early in the morning, so I opt to pull an all-nighter. I don't finish packing until minutes before I leave, hanging out with my friends until the last possible second. Due to my lack of planning, I almost always forget something at home, packing inefficiently. I get a horrible headache from not sleeping and return to campus exhausted, feeling horrible, full of complaints. Yet for years, I've done it time and time again. I'm never ready to accept my break coming to an end. I don't want to say goodbye to my friends and return to classes. I'm never, ever ready to leave, no matter how long my stay. This past winter break was no different, as I stayed up late, stuffing my bags with random pieces of clothing with just minutes before I had to leave for the airport. I spent most of my night complaining, dreading my return to the cold weather, long days, and seemingly endless assignments I knew would pile up. The last few days of my break were spent unenthusiastically thinking about only what was to come. January 7th rolled around. Before I knew it, and much to my dismay, I was back on my flight to Philadelphia. When I landed, my phone erupted with news of wildfires having broken out in Los Angeles. In the 6 hours I had spent on the plane, hundreds of homes and businesses were now in ashes. Los Angeles had entered a state of emergency, and in the week to come, it would erupt into a fiery rage, becoming unrecognizable to me. First, it was the Palisades, which held a special place in my heart, where my friends and I would go on every summer day, where much of my friends and extended family lived. The streets we would wander aimlessly for hours, now burnt to ashes, my friends' schools gone, my favorite hikes reduced to just burnt brush. I grew sicker with each photo I saw and news article I read. It seemed as if the fires were never ending. The Eaton fire followed shortly after, threatening another neighborhood close to my heart. Hundreds of thousands of families were displaced, and the fire had turned homes into simply ash and memories. And the city I thought was always made of steel now had dissolved like paper into the rain. The greatest challenge I faced with these was the ache of the distance, not being there when I felt it mattered most. While Hill was the best place for me to be logically, being so far removed, over 3,000 miles away, as everything fell apart was a kind of helplessness I had never known before. I had absolutely no control over the situation. I was filled with regret for how I'd spent my last moments, the simple things I had taken for granted. One more sunset on the beach, one more meal at my favorite Thai spot, a few more steps through the streets that felt as if they had shaped me. Even after the fires were put out and my home was safe, I couldn't grapple with the fact that the Los Angeles I had left would not be the same I was returning to. As a response, I clung to my normal habits, spending days complaining. All I wanted to do was go back home, to be able to return to that break, saying that leaving home in the first place was the worst decision I had made. The last 4 years away had felt wasted, as if I had chosen to live my life in the wrong direction. Though I was consumed with regret and sadness, it was clear that my city instead had risen from the ashes, its spirit unbroken as our people came together to rebuild. When I returned home just a week after the fires, I braced myself for change. And change indeed had come, just not in the way I had imagined. An entire city now banded together. Parking lots were filled with donations of clothing, and fire stations were filled with platters of food and resources. I spotted fire trucks from states away speeding through the cities, and every billboard and sign was lit up with the phrase LA Strong. Communities were coming together from opposite sides of the city to run food drives and community events. It was far bigger than a few neighborhoods now, though. It was a worldwide effort and an action to support those affected. There was no altering of these course of events, no way to undo what had already been done, no difference I could have made regardless of being at Hill or not. And the only regret I now hold is spending those last moments filled with complaints. I couldn't know what was to come when I boarded my flight back to school that day. Nobody knew a disaster of this magnitude would occur. I could wallow in regret, yearning for my days that I had lost the time, or I could choose to act, shaping what lay ahead. Joining the effort to rebuild, donating to charities, helping with food drives, supporting firefighters that kept my own home safe. The matter of the fact is, Los Angeles will rebuild, and the memories of what once was will always remain, and these events will become a lesson to me. Thinking about the past or living in the moment so as not to regret the past does little good. The only choice before me, as I see it, is to act now, because the present is the only thing truly in my control. I was admittedly uneasy about the idea of speaking up in front of the entire school, giving this chapel talk. And though I tried to brush off the nerves, I still was nervous. I knew a piece of me would regret not seizing this moment, and I didn't want my future self to be filled with regret. So initially I combed through my mind, trying to find a memory that felt perfect to speak about to you all, the perfect topic. However, I came to realize that the matter that warrants the most of my attention is the now, sharing what has been going through my mind in these past few months, as that has been the most important to me. Speaking to you all has proven to be more than just an opportunity. It's a moment of much greater value. A true reminder that no moment is promised to you forever. As the saying goes, nothing gold can stay. So while you have your golden moments, I encourage you to make the most of them, for they won't last forever and are not always promised to you. Value what you have in the present and use it as a foundation to build your future. A quote I constantly refer back to is, "Dream without action is hallucination." In this circumstance, a city like Los Angeles will not rebuild itself. It takes community. It took support from all over the world to put out the fires, and it will take that same level of banding together to put it back. Similarly, this chapel talk was not going to write itself, as much as I truly, truly wished it would. But to give this talk was a dream for me, an aspiration, the same way returning to normalcy is a dream back home. And what I came to realize is that I would be unable to achieve my dreams by simply complaining and remaining in this state of, quote, hallucination. It took a series of actions, changes, and deliberate choices to make a difference, to turn this goal into a reality. For the sixth form, we've been holding this phrase close to our hearts whether we know it or not. I see examples of this every day on campus, as student athletes exert all their energy in practices and games in hopes of playing collegiately, as students stay up late studying day and night with the hopes of attending a dream college. I saw it as my peers stood up at this lectern before me, many facing their anxieties too of speaking in front of the school. I hear it as students stand on stage singing in the musicals, or when faculty tell inspiring stories of their accolades they've accomplished or life-changing trips they've gone on. So now it's our turn. While I personally am not sure what my dream is right now, I do know that there's action I can take. For me, it starts with doing this chapel talk, facing anxiety of mine. It will continue as I go into college, as I hopefully accumulate accolades of my own, meet new people, and learn more and more. No matter where you are in your Hill career or life, it's never the wrong moment to act. Join the student band. Try a new sport just because you want to. Take the random class that seems oddly intriguing to you. Put extra effort into your work and do your Delta math on time. Try not to complain just because you can. Instead, recognize what is in your control and make that your focus. One day, we will all part from the Hill. For my form, that will be in just 43 days. As we jump into the Dell and move into the rest of our lives, we'll always be able to return to the Hill as alumni, but it will inevitably be different. I ask you to look around at the people sitting next to you right now, at the stunning buildings we get to sit in and make use of, at the familiar faces we've become accustomed to. Appreciate it. Acknowledge the good you have right now, but don't let the idea of leaving it behind stop you from moving forward. New faces will become familiar, and new memories will be made. New classes will become your favorite, and a new dorm room will be filled with friends both old and new. No matter the direction you go, though, just remember, our best memories only exist because you appreciated what you had in that moment and took the actions necessary to make it happen. Thank you.